July 16, 1945. Before dawn, a silent desert erupts, brighter than 1,000 suns. In that moment, a secret weapon built by J. Robert Oppenheimer changes World War II and the fate of humanity forever. But how did a theoretical physicist become the man who ended the deadliest war in history? The answer begins with a race against Nazi Germany. In September 1939, German tanks rolled into Poland, igniting a war that would engulf the world. As Nazi troops swept across Europe, a different kind of alarm sounded in the minds of scientists. In New Jersey, physicist Leo Szilard drafted a letter with Albert Einstein's signature, warning President Franklin D. Roosevelt that German physicists might be working to unlock the energy inside the atom. The fear was simple and absolute. If Hitler built an atomic bomb first, no city would be safe. Roosevelt read the letter in October 1939 and acted quietly but decisively. He authorized a small committee to investigate the possibility of atomic weapons. For 2 years, the effort moved slowly, hampered by doubt and bureaucracy. But by late 1941, the situation changed. German advances in uranium research and the attack on Pearl Harbor shattered any sense of distance from the threat. On October 9, 1941, Roosevelt approved a crash program to develop an atomic bomb. The stakes could not have been higher. That same month, on October 21st, theoretical physicist J. Robert Oppenheimer was brought into the project. Oppenheimer, already known for his work on fast neutron calculations, joined a growing circle of scientists racing against time. The project would demand secrecy, speed, and a willingness to take risks no one had faced before. Every day lost meant the possibility that Nazi Germany would win the race for the ultimate weapon. The fate of millions rested on decisions made in those first urgent months. By early 1943, the Manhattan Project had outgrown its origins as a small research effort. The U.S. government poured $2 billion, about $28 billion today, into building an industrial machine on a scale never seen before. At its peak, the project employed nearly 130,000 people spread across more than 30 secret sites. The heart of the operation beat in 3 locations. Oak Ridge, Tennessee, housed sprawling plants for uranium enrichment, their machinery running day and night. In Hanford, Washington, engineers built the world's first large-scale plutonium reactors, racing to solve technical problems that threatened to halt the entire project. But the most secret site was Los Alamos, New Mexico, a remote mesa chosen for its isolation. Here, J. Robert Oppenheimer assembled a team of the world's most brilliant scientists: Enrico Fermi, Niels Bohr, Richard Feynman, and many others. They worked under relentless secrecy, even from their own families, and under the constant pressure of war. Oppenheimer's leadership style set the tone. He built consensus among fiercely independent minds, inspiring loyalty and urgency without ever seeming to command. Edward Teller later said, "He knew how to lead powerfully without seeming to do so." 2 bomb designs took shape inside Los Alamos. The uranium gun type, called Little Boy, was simple enough to skip a full-scale test. The plutonium implosion device, Fat Man, demanded a radically new approach and would require a dangerous, unprecedented trial. Every decision, from logistics to physics, unfolded against the clock. The Manhattan Project had become a city-sized wager that science could deliver a weapon before the enemy, or before time ran out. Lightning flickered across the New Mexico sky as midnight gave way to the early hours of July 16, 1945. Rain hammered the desert, soaking the ground around a 100-foot steel tower. At its top, engineers had secured a heavy spherical device, 13 pounds of plutonium at its heart, ringed by carefully machined explosives. The bomb, nicknamed the Gadget, was the result of years of theory, failed experiments, and frantic last-minute adjustments. In the control bunker, physicist Kenneth Bainbridge, the test director, paced between consoles and radios. Every wire, detonator, and timer had been checked and checked again. Some scientists tried to sleep, but most sat awake, chain-smoking, nervously trading predictions or silent in thought. The storm threatened to delay everything. Technicians braved the mud and lightning to arm the device, racing to finish before dawn. In the final hour, the rain eased, leaving the desert air heavy and still. Bainbridge gave the order to clear the area. Scientists and soldiers retreated to observation posts miles away, hearts pounding. The countdown began. Each second ticked away the uncertainty, drawing everyone closer to a moment that would decide the fate of their work, and perhaps the world itself. 5:29 and 45 seconds in the morning. A blinding flash tore open the New Mexico desert, brighter than anything the world had ever seen. The shock wave followed, flattening the air and rattling bones miles away. Sand fused into a crust of green glass, known as Trinity, still warm to the touch hours later. The steel tower that held the bomb simply vanished. Where it once stood, only a scorched mark remained. Scientists who watched from bunkers and distant hills staggered to their feet in silence, faces lit by the afterglow. The yield was staggering, not the half-kiloton some had feared, but an explosion equal to 18,000 to 21,000 tons of TNT. Kenneth Bainbridge, the test director, turned to Oppenheimer and said, "Now we are all sons of bitches." Oppenheimer, stunned, later recalled words from the Bhagavad Gita, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." In that instant, awe and dread collided. The bomb had worked, beyond all expectations, and the world would never return to what it was before. On August 6, 1945, a B-29 bomber named Enola Gay flew above Hiroshima and released a single bomb. In seconds, a column of fire consumed the heart of the city. The blast equaled 15,000 tons of TNT. Nearly 80,000 people died instantly. Hospitals, schools, and homes disappeared in a wave of heat and wind. By the end of the year, the death toll reached around 140,000, many lost to burns and radiation sickness. 3 days later, a second B-29, Bockscar, headed for Kokura. But thick clouds forced a change in course. At 11:02 a.m. on August 9th, the crew dropped the plutonium bomb over Nagasaki. The explosion was even more powerful, killing about 40,000 people in seconds and 74,000 by year's end. The devastation was total, neighborhoods erased, families gone in an instant. That same week, the Soviet Union declared war on Japan and invaded Manchuria. Faced with destruction on all fronts, Emperor Hirohito announced surrender on August 15th. The war ended not with a battle, but with silence and ash, as the world counted the cost. In the months after the bombs fell, Oppenheimer's triumph gave way to a heavy reckoning. News from Hiroshima and Nagasaki arrived in waves. Photos, survivor accounts, casualty lists. The scientific achievement that ended one war now haunted its creator. In October 1945, Oppenheimer sat across from President Truman in the Oval Office. He spoke quietly. "Mr. President, I feel I have blood on my hands." Truman, angered, insisted the burden was his alone, not the scientists'. But for Oppenheimer, the line between invention and responsibility had blurred beyond repair. Just days later, on August 17th, Oppenheimer wrote to Secretary of War Henry Stimson, urging the United States to place nuclear weapons under international control. He argued that the bomb's existence could not remain a secret or a tool of national policy. The letter marked the start of a new campaign, not to build, but to restrain. His public opposition to the hydrogen bomb and his calls for arms control drew suspicion during the Red Scare. In 1954, Oppenheimer faced a security hearing. Old associations and new doubts cost him his clearance. The man who once held the fate of nations now found himself silenced, his influence stripped away. Oppenheimer died in 1967, aged 62, never fully free from the weight of what he had helped unleash. On August 6th and 9th, 1945, 2 atomic bombs killed over 200,000 people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, ending World War II within weeks. The Manhattan Project, at a cost of $2 billion and involving 130,000 workers across 3 secret sites, made this possible under J. Robert Oppenheimer's leadership. Documents confirm the bomb forced Japan's surrender, likely preventing an invasion that U.S. planners feared would cause up to 1 million American casualties. Yet many wartime records, especially on Japan's surrender deliberations and Soviet intentions, remain classified or disputed, leaving some aspects of the decision unresolved. The creation and use of the atomic bomb marked the start of the nuclear age, shaping international relations ever since. Today, every nation still lives with the consequences of Oppenheimer's project. As he said after Trinity, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." The facts are clear. One invention changed the course of war and the future of humanity.